Welcome to Small Arm Solutions. Today we're looking at the Brownells BRN-601, which is their version of the Model 601. Those of you who are not familiar with the Model 601, this was the first version of the M16 that went to Vietnam. This was the one that was procured by the Air Force prior to the Army's adopting or the Army's interest in it. Now, Brownells has gone well above and beyond anybody in the industry when it comes to retro rifles. The parts that you're seeing on this rifle, you're seeing a complete retooling of old obsolete parts. And as time goes on, Brownells is introducing more and more and more. We started off with the furniture, and then we went to parts such as the flash suppressors that are outdated, the slick slide, the charging handle, and they've come out with the chrome-plated bolt carrier groups as well, which we're going to take a look at. But even as we speak now, Brownells is still coming out with additional parts. After speaking with Paul Levy over at Brownells, they are now looking to come out with retro ejection port covers, as well as safeties, and as well as the pivot pins that have the dimples on them. So this is far from over. They are continuing to improve and continuing to bring out new products for the old retro lines, which makes me extremely excited. Now, there's some other models we're going to be going over when they become available to me. We're going to be doing the XM16E1. We've already done the M16A1. I did that in a previous video. And we will be seeing one of their XM177s as well. But we're going to jump right into this one here. They did a really awesome job on this. Looking at the stock assemblies, you'll see we have the green here. Now, the original rifles were in green, so that's why this will be correct for a Model 601. It's the original. There's no compartment in the back. You have the swivel on the bottom of the stock. So as we move forward, we'll see the lower receiver. Now, if you look at the lower receiver, this is an original Type 601 receiver where you had no magazine fence. And also the front pivot pin is totally removable. This was originally on the AR-10s as well. This was something that the Army changed pretty quickly because they knew that people were going to lose them. So that was something that was changed very, very quickly. But the original 601 did have the removable front pin there. The barrel on the BRN-601 is a 1 in 12-inch twist. Now, the original barrels on the 601 were a 1 in 14. However, there was problems with the 1 in 14 when stabilizing the bullet in Arctic environments, so it was switched over to the 1 in 12. So this would have both. Really, really early rifles could be seen with a 1 in 14, but the standard was the 1 in 12, which went on through the M16A1. You also have the duckbill flash suppressor. This was changed to the style that we saw in the XM16E1s. That wasn't the same profile. It was a lot more sleek. But it still was the same thing. You do have the tuning fork sound when this thing fires. You will feel that, and you'll hear it as well. So the barrel is manganese phosphate. This is what it originally was. Brownells has this barrels available, and I think they had 10.7, I believe. They had 14.5, and they have the 20-inch, 16-inch. So taking a closer look at the receivers. You have no forward assist, which is correct. We have no shuttle collector. Now, taking a look at two of the parts that are very, very important to this retro build is the charging handle. This is the original charging handle that was issued on the Model 601. It was not nearly as easy to grasp. Some people do like them, but if you have small fingers, it really wasn't. This was something else that was very quickly changed by the Army. And you also have the chrome-plated bolt carrier group. The 601s, XM16E1s all had was a fully chrome-plated bolt carrier group. Now, chrome to me is probably the best of all the finishes. I prefer it above all. It's very corrosion resistant. It's also very slippery, so as it heats up, it has more of a self-lubricity to it, and it's very easy to clean the way that it is. However, early on in the Vietnam War, early on in the production, there was a problem with the application of the chroming process. And if there's any kind of a crack in the chrome, the moisture would get underneath it. It would cause hydrogen embrittlement. It would cause it to flake. And that was a major problem during the Vietnam War because of the humidity in the environment. So the reason for getting rid of it was not really anything other than the fact that technology really wasn't there to make this as reliable of a finish to put it on evenly and properly. It was a little bit more expensive, but I think the main reason why they got rid of it was because of the hydrogen embrittlement issue. And switched over to the manganese phosphate, which is what we still use today. But I still, of all the finishes out there, I do prefer the chrome. As you can see, this one here, there's no forward assist notches. This is the correct smooth side that you would have in a Model 601. Now, Brownells also offers for the XM16E1 the same one that would be for the XM16E1. The main difference just being this one has forward assist notches. So both of these can be bought from Brownells now, depending on what model you want to do. If you're doing an XM177 or a GAW, you would want the top one. Or if you were doing an XM16E1, you would want to do the bottom one down here. Now, the initial receivers that Brownells had come out with were in a black. They were black configuration. They were only offering them in black. But they had a little bit to do with the licensing agreement they had with Nodak Spuds. However, now you are seeing Brownells coming out with the gray receivers as well. That was the only complaint anybody really had about the Brownells retro receivers was, they were period correct in their configuration, except they were the wrong color. Well, now you can order them from Brownells in either the charcoal gray or in the black configuration, whichever you choose. Now, this rifle here, as I said, to somebody who doesn't understand the significance of it, it's very outdated. But for those of us who really do appreciate the earlier versions, this is pretty awesome. I have the price of these is around $1,299, and I've gotten a lot of comments on my last video I did on the M16A1 that people were saying this is just too expensive. Something I have to have you guys, really have to think about here. What you're seeing here, these are not stock components. These are not parts that you can buy from anybody out there who, who's making massive numbers of them so you can get them at a cheap cost. You're looking at parts that have been recreated to build these rifles. You're looking at a recreation of an outdated flash suppressor. You're looking at outdated handguards, as well as outdated handguard colors. You're looking at receivers that the forgings don't exist other than within, I think, Nodak Spud's probably the only one that has the forgings left for the smooth side here, not to mention the lower receiver. You're recreating all of this outdated stuff, which is expensive. You're not buying them in the bulks like you are the M4. So you're looking at research and development. You're looking at tooling to manufacture outdated parts, which is why you're seeing that cost is on there. So when you really look at those manufacturing costs and the R&D costs, this is not really out of line as far as the price tag is concerned. Especially as time's going on here, where you're seeing more and more of these outdated parts being manufactured. I imagine probably within a year or so, you're going to even see some changes on this model. You're going to see changes to the safety. You'll probably see changes to the rear takedown pin. And who knows? I wouldn't even be surprised if we even saw some of the original bolt catches come out of these guys. They're, the guy who's heading this up, Mr. Levy, here, he is very sharp. Mr. Levy is very detailed on these components, and he's really going out to make this stuff as realistic as possible. So I expect to see a lot more in the future. This is the same 6.1 pound rifle it was back in 1960. This is 40 inches in length, which is the same it was with the original style stock. It's not the extended A2 stock. This is the original stock. Now, the main components you're not going to see in here is you're not going to see the Edgewater buffer, which has been gone for probably since 1968 or 67 in that time period in there. You do have a standard buffer in here, so this rifle is a shooter. This is not one that you're going to not be able to shoot. You have a modern gas tube in here, which is also good because the original ones had a lot of issues with warping. I've seen some videos on this where people want to go after what is different between this and the original one. I prefer to go the other way. What is the same? A lot of the issues that people have talked about not being exact, well, they're being worked on as we speak. So you will be able to say you buy one of these rifles and you want to get some of the upgraded parts, you will be able to get them from Brownells as they come out. Now, some other parts that I want to talk to you about are going to be from my A1 build you here. Now, this is also completely Brownells. This is an M16A1 carbine build. One of the newer parts you're going to see on their XM177E2 is going to be their new receiver extension. They have gone ahead and they have recreated the original receiver extension, which only has 2 positions. So this is another one of the new components that you're going to see. This happens to be Brownell's 16-inch barrel. This is the more of the black receivers. But yeah, every part you see on here, with the exception of this stock, all of it came out of Brownells. Another component that Brownells has come out with to make the 601 even that much more special is a waffle pattern magazine. These were issued for a very short period of time. There were some issues with them, with the steel lips and everything on them. Also was the cost. The magazines on these rifles were designed to be disposable. They're a disposable commodity according to the U.S. government. They weren't meant to be used over and over and over again. So between the problems they had with these things bending and malfunctioning and the cost, they had switched over to the aluminum ones. But again, for as far as period correctness, it would be the waffle pattern magazine. Now this rifle, I just got here about a week or two ago, and I probably put over 500 rounds through it in a very short period of time. Rifle works 100%. It's as I said, it's the original rifle, and myself, that's really where my appreciation lies, is in the original design, what it originally was. And what's even more interesting is you compare this to an AR, an M16A2 or the A4. You're looking at 6.1 pounds here versus rifles that are up in the area of 9 pounds. So you really get an appreciation for the original rifle was meant to be lightweight. And as the years go on, we go up and up and up in weight. We're adding more and more. Here's a bare bones rifle where you have iron sights, and now we're seeing, optics, magnifiers, lasers. We've gone from, again, a very lightweight rifle up to, when it can be up to 10 or 11 pounds with all the accessories that you put on it. So the simplicity where the rifle began to the complexity of where it's at right now. But you can definitely see, throughout the time period, the evolution of the rifle and all the improvements that it made. This rifle was a lot more similar to the original Armalite rifle that Colt sold to the Army, which was sold to them by Armalite. The design of it was very, very similar to what Gene Stoner originally put out from Armalite. A lot of the differences were, the stock assemblies were changed a lot, quite a bit, the handguards. But the basic rifle is the same. The original rifle was the one that was designed around the IMR propellant, which was designed around the lower cycle rate, the 600 rounds a minute, which the ball powder is what caused the major issues with that by increasing it to nearly 1,000 rounds a minute. And you had parts that weren't designed for that kind of cyclic rate, that kind of battery. Also, the rifle's timing was changed dramatically, which would cause the failures to extract. So what you're seeing here is a fully functional, operable rifle that will take any of the ammunition that we have today, as long as it's not over 62 or over 60 grains. This is a 1 12-inch barrel, so you pretty much want to stick around with a 55 grain full metal jacket. That's what it's designed for. You don't want to put the 77 grain; it won't stabilize it. 62 grain, it won't stabilize. It's designed for that lighter ammunition. But this has the upgrades to it. It's all fully chrome-plated boring chamber, so you don't have the corrosion issues with that at all. So for as far as all the parts are concerned, these are all Brownells components, as we said. If you go into the notes, you're going to see a complete list of all the parts that are on here that you can either buy the individual parts to build your own rifle, or if you want to just buy some parts to upgrade an existing rifle. So we're going to have that on there. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take this to the range and we're going to see how it shoots. I've had this rifle out a few times and it works flawless. As I said, I've been extremely excited about the entire retro line that Brownells did. You guys had saw that I had put up while I was at the SHOT Show that I thought the best product or the most exciting product at SHOT Show was Brownells AR-10 or their BAR-10, which that to me is still mind-boggling that someone is coming out with an original AR-10 after all these years that nobody ever did come out with an original AR-10 type rifle. I was told by Paul Levy that they're doing some final testing this week, and then it's going to go into production. So I'm definitely here on pins and needles waiting to have the AR-10 come in. But the entire series that they have now, the 601, the XM16E1, the M16A1, as well as the XM177E2, we're going to take a look at all those rifles on this channel. I just think that Brownells, for as far as them making their own history and having the first rifle system that they're putting out, a complete rifle, that they're answering the call to the pretty extreme demand of the people who want retro guns. I mean, it's really hard to believe that there's this much interest in retro guns, but there is. You know, there's only a few companies that really do it, and they're being inundated. As many of you guys have emailed me in the past about Brownells parts. You know, when are they going to be back in stock? Well, that just goes to show you what the demand for these things are. With Brownells, you're probably going to see a little bit of a lull occasionally in the availability of some of these parts because they're building rifles as well. So, you know, if they're building, 601s, you're probably going to see a lag in them having parts in stock for it. The rifles come in and out of stock. This depends on when they get them in. But as of this filming right now, they are in stock. We have all the codes and everything in our notes, so you can go right to it and you can order them. If you guys have any questions regarding the 601 series or any of these retro rifles, please feel free to leave me a comment. I'll try and get back to you. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like, please subscribe, and even better, share. Thank you.